I do think it is interesting, Joe, that about this time of year, and what Ollie Watkins is effectively saying that is professional as everything has become, especially in recent years, there are still some people who might feel a little bit sluggish coming off the back of Christmas.
Yeah, look, there's definitely a different environment in your household. Absolutely no getting away from it. As much as you're staying professional, and God, if you're not that professional, I don't mean getting bladdered, but I mean having a little bit more food. Like you will be all right, because when the moment hits. But it was funny, I was watching football on Boxing Day, and it was Birmingham versus Derby, I think it was, at St Andrews. And I was watching it on my own, and I was like, 15 years ago, I remember getting my head booted in by Florin Malouda. It wasn't Malouda. Malouda kicked me.
Is this when you're on loan at Birmingham?
Yeah, he kicked me another time. It was. Striker.
Yeah. Nationality?
It wasn't for Chelsea. Solomon Kalou.
Yeah.
I'm not. I don't hold grudges, but he didn't need to kick me in the head that day. 15 staples in my head, but I ended up having a worldie. 15 years ago.
He kicked you so hard you thought he was Florin Malouda.
Yeah, there we go. But yeah, it was a good moment, because it sparked my wife to go, do you think the boxes are still the same? Because there was the sun coming down at St Andrews, and we were lucky enough to have a box that loan on season, and they said that they fried like a sauna. It just gave me really, really good nostalgic memories of that moment. So Ollie, it's not about you, it's about me.
To make it a bit about Ollie Watkins then, Nedum, I mean, is that performance from him yesterday, and I'm conscious of the fact that the first goal was a complete freak, and even he said it afterwards, that wasn't a great finish, that was a bit of luck, and then he scores a really nice header. Is that an indication yesterday that Villa do have the strength in depth to keep what they are doing right now sustainable? Now, winning 11 in a row is probably not sustainable for any team, but in terms of being where they are in the table, being third in the table.
Yeah, I think so in some ways. I think they are, as a club at the moment, they're really competitive, because not every win that they've had has been a really beautiful win. They've not controlled many games of football. Like even yesterday, I thought first half they were really, really poor. But I think there's an upside in the fact that they can find a way to gain momentum in a game. And whether that comes through changes or tactical tweaks, or a manager or players just deciding they want to decide, but making sure that they raise the level, then that is good to see. And I think him coming off the bench as an England international for them is a positive. I think to not be a prisoner of the moment too much. He's not scored as many goals this season in the league as he would have hoped to. And I think there was a time when, say, early in the year, himself and even Rodgers, for example, they hadn't scored a ton of goals either. And the critique was, they're not creating enough. And to a certain extent, you could argue that case now still. But I think the belief is probably the thing that's carrying them more than anything else right now. And when, say, Onana was coming off the bench, you had Watkins,
Sancho.
You had Sancho as well. And you've got players to come back in. I think that is them in a really good position. But this run that they're on, it does feel like unsustainable. But having been burned by this before in the past in terms of teams I thought weren't going to carry on and do well, talking Leicester City 2014, I just sit back and just let it be now.
Is there a parallel there?
No, not really, because Leicester had been promoted the year before, as I vividly remember.
No, they just survived relegation the year before.
The year before, 2 years. Got promoted with us,
yes.
Stayed up, won the league. The standard arc for a football club. That's the way it works, isn't it? So yeah, you never know. And I think as every week passes, we're almost, for me anyway, I'm expecting it to end, but it hasn't. I think when they were losing Chelsea yesterday, I thought, well, it's going to end, and then it didn't. And I can't even begin to imagine what the feeling is like. Maybe Joe will, because obviously you've won a league and so on. But for those players to win 11, or does he say 11 games or 10 games in a row?
It's 11 all comps, isn't it?
To think about 11 wins in a row. Like, there's times where my team would win 3 in a row, and I felt like we're the best team in the history of football. So to be at 11, I can't even begin to compute that.
I'm looking forward to how they handle the conversation change, because that's where Chelsea struggled. I think they've done it twice. They've got themselves into a conversation of, are you title contenders? Maresca doubled down, didn't he? He was like, absolutely not. And it was almost like the pin got released, and they became inconsistent. I'm looking forward. Unai Emery is just a brilliant manager. He's so intense, and I loved the fact that he had the struggle start to the season, and he stayed strong, and he could just see the grit in his teeth on the sideline, saying, "I want more from this team. I want more." And they're fair play. I love Ollie Watkins scoring 2, winning away at Chelsea, because it's been tough for him. It's not been ideal. There's so many conversations about all the number 9s that are playing in England World Cup year, and he's almost been excluded. And like you said, Nedum, he's not scored the goals that you want to score, but big moments like that, they shape your season. And I'm just looking forward to see how they handle the narrative change, because in the media you can see when it starts to become a little bit spiky. Journalists are going to ask different questions, and Unai Emery, I want to see how he owns it, because fair play to, like you say, to win 11 in a row and to come through the games that they've come through and shone in some and scrambled in others. I think it's a really exciting time, and I'm just looking forward to seeing them embrace it.
Jules, two-parter for you. Are you a Villa truther yet, in terms of you're in love with them? And secondly, in terms of the three managers at the top of the table now, where would you put Emery in terms of those three?
I mean, I believe that what they're doing right now is quite special, but I agree with you in the sense that if you look at all the many stats, let's say, or underlying stats, it doesn't feel like sustainable, because they keep finding ways, often with serves. You know, when Diaz comes on against Arsenal, wins the game. Watkins comes on against Chelsea, wins the games when they were a goal down. Malen scores against Brighton when they won 4-3 away, coming off the bench again. And I know that was to make it 4-2, not 4-3, but still. So they, despite not having maybe the best squad in terms of depth and even in terms of quality from 1 to 24 or so, Emery still managed to find the right formula. Although I thought Onana not starting yesterday was a mistake, and to be fair, I felt he changed the game with Watkins and with Sancho when they come on after an hour. For me, Maresca not responding to those changes made a massive mistake yesterday. And again, I'm disappointed by his in-game management. It's not the first time we said that this season. And I think Maresca will become a great manager, but right now he's not there because of those issues within his own coaching. But from a Villa point of view, you look at Watkins yesterday. He plays 32 minutes. He's got eight touches in the Chelsea box. 4 of them are shots on target. It's just the ratio again is incredible for what they do. And it was Rodgers against West Ham. Incredible stats individually on in terms of efficiency and being clinical. And I just think, like, if they can keep like this, and they might be able to. I know we say it might not be sustainable, but if they can. One day is Buendia, one day is Watkins, one day is Rodgers, one day is McGinn, one day is Kamara against Wolves that scores that worldie that he never scored ever in his career before. One day is Onana, one day is him. It's just, if they keep doing that, then of course for me they're in a title race and be until the end. Emery can say whatever he wants, there's 20 games to go, there's plenty. Of course there are, but right now, you are the best team in the league. Nobody is better than you. You've won 11 in a row. You are the best manager in the league because you find solutions to problems that your team is facing, more than Arteta, more than Pep, and your team is the best. Nobody has won as many games as you, so you are right now the most informed, best team in the Premier League.
Beat Arsenal and City in that run, I think.
Yeah.
And they've got
Chelsea.
Arsenal next on Tuesday.